What is going on, everybody? Welcome into World Baseball Network. Alfred Esmond here, and we have a special guest today, Antoine Jean, Big 12 Pitcher of the Year, representing the Houston Cougars and also representing Montreal, Canada, as a native of the region. Antoine, thank you for joining us, man.
Of course, man. Excited to be here.
So, before we get into obviously this incredible season you just had and your college career in general, I want you to talk about your Montreal background over at World Baseball Network. We deal with a lot of international baseball news, so that obviously piques our interest as well as our audience's interest. Talk about the baseball culture in Montreal and what it was like for you growing up and playing there.
Obviously, being from Montreal, Canada, I would say hockey is probably the dominant sport back home. So when I was a kid, started playing hockey when I was 4 years old, and picked up baseball when I was about 8 years old. So I started hockey before baseball, and then played until I was like 13, 14. That's kind of when I decided to just focus on baseball. But yeah, I think baseball has grown a lot back home. It's been a good thing in the recent years. There's been more and more guys that have like goals of playing in college baseball and professional baseball. And basically, like when you're from Montreal and Quebec and just Canada in general, the goal is to get to the United States and find, if you want to have a career in baseball, usually the plan is to find your way to the United States.
Very good. And how did you hear you started before Houston at Alabama playing there a little bit and stuff? How
Yes,
does a guy
sir.
like how does a guy like you hear about playing at the University of Alabama from Montreal?
So it was funny. It's actually like everything got a lot like bigger for me when I made the national team. So when I made the junior national team with Team Canada, our coach Greg Hamilton just been there forever, knows pretty much everybody, and has a lot of good contacts and a very good name in the game of baseball. So it was right before I would go to college, like my freshman year, draft year, and everything. We were in camp in Florida playing against pro teams, and I was doing pretty well. So that's when he kind of gave me the idea of, hey man, like might be good for you to go to the SEC. You know what I mean? I was committed to JUCO at the time, so he kind of helped make plans for me and stuff, put me in contact with Alabama, went on a visit, and fell in love right away. So that's where I went.
And then after, 3 years in Tuscaloosa, you eventually make the switch, right, to come here to Houston. Talk about, that kind of transition because that's happening a lot now in college athletics. It's not just you. There's, players right now in the transfer portal, and we still got the NCAA tournament. So talk about that kind of switch. And if you had any advice for players going through that switch, what would you give them?
Um, so my switch was kind of like unconventional a little bit. I played my first 3 years at Bama, loved it. Then I got Tommy right before the draft, my junior year, like a couple weeks before the draft, I ended up getting Tommy John surgery.
Mm.
So that took me out for, I kind of missed half my junior year, and it took me out for the whole next year. So it was kind of a complicated situation at Bama. So the next year, plan on getting drafted as well as my senior year, even though I didn't play. I plan on like getting into my rehab and show that I was healthy enough to get drafted, and ended up not getting drafted. And I graduated that year from Alabama. And then at the end of the year, one of my coaches, Matt Rada, ended up going to Houston. So I just followed along with him. And the rest is, I mean, I got to Houston and loved it. Just like Bama is like a second home, and same with Houston. So I was just blessed to have two really good places take care of me in college.
Yeah, and I feel like when you paused right there, you were about to say, the rest was history, and the rest is history, right? I mean, based on what happened this year, even the
For
year
sure.
before, you came to Houston. I see, you got some starter experience in you last year in 2024, made the switch over to a reliever role, and you thrived, man. I mean, a sub three ERA, 110 strikeouts, and 67 innings is absolutely ridiculous. That's phenomenal and you win the Big 12 Pitcher of the Year award as a reliever, which is, it's so hard for relievers to win these awards, and you're like the first guy to ever do that, I feel like. So, talk about the kind of emotion with coming home with that, and what kind of clicked for you this year to be so dominant.
Like you said, just switching roles. I've been a starter my whole life. Like when I was young, I was a starter. At Bama, I was a starter. Same with last year. And my pitching coach Woody Williams just approached me before the season and like kind of hinted at like me being a reliever and stuff. And my first thoughts were like, I don't know, like I've always started. And the first words he said to me, like he made it clear, like this is not a demotion, it's a promotion. Like I want my guy to be in the back end of the games, throwing like the big innings. So I was like, you know what, like that's what you want me to do. Like me and him are super close, so it was easy for me to trust him, even though I wasn't too sure about it. And at the same time, I'm one of those guys like whatever you need me to do to help the team win, I'm gonna do it. So just having that approach coming into a new role, I think is what really helped. And obviously, like little cues, like just being paired up with a pitching coach that pitched in the big leagues for 15 years on the physical side of the game, but also the mental side of the game, it just obviously changed my career for sure.
And just, to finally reflect on your career, you started back at Alabama way back when, 2020. That was the COVID year that got cut short, unfortunately. Ups and downs for me in a good way, for what happened with you. You had all those years at Bama, got sidelined for a little bit, and then got to Houston. And you're kind of just ending, on the top of the mountain for all pitchers in the Big 12, so to speak. If you could, I kind of just did it for you, but reflect upon what you've learned throughout your college career.
I mean, I've honestly just learned to like it's good. You need to have a plan in life, and like sometimes the plan's gonna deviate, obviously. Like if for example, I got drafted in high school, and I had like a big decision to make back then when I was a little 17-year-old. Like, hey, do I sign pro or do I go to college? And I had a pretty good offer on the table. Ended up wanting to go to college to develop. And obviously, my plan was to play 3 years, get drafted high, and begin my pro career. And obviously, that was my plan. A lot of obstacles got in the way, a lot of stuff out of my control. And I think it just made me stronger at the end. And obviously, like I'm just blessed for my story to end like this at the University of Houston. And now I just think it prepared me for an even better and longer career in the long run. So just always trust yourself, have ambition, work hard, and good things are gonna happen.
Well, by the looks of it, Antoine, it seems like you're going to have a really good and long baseball career after this, after what you did this year. As we wrap up, man, we over at World Baseball Network want to wish you congratulations on the Big 12 Pitcher of the Year award.
I appreciate that. It means a lot, guys.
Of course. Well, guys, this has been Alfred Esmond with World Baseball Network. Thank you for watching. All right. I think we're good, Fletcher, if you can hear me. Maybe.
I'll text him.
Thank you for doing this too, man. We really appreciate it.
Of course, man. It was nice to meet you and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Just really great year too, by the way. Phenomenal.
I
Was
appreciate that.
shocked. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I just texted him saying we're all done.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, guys. I had it on mute.
Oh,
You all good?
you're good. Yep.
Yeah, we're good. If you could obviously just send me this recording, I'd appreciate it. Thank you for setting this up too, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely. Hope everything went well. I was in the other
It,
room. So
it did. Thank you both so much.
awesome.